What if one of the hardest things chronic pain steals from you is not your comfort? It's not the ability to move like you used to, not even the life you thought you'd have, but what if it's your sense of who you are? And if pain's ever made you feel like you've somehow lost yourself, like the person that you used to be is slipping further and further away, then this conversation today is for you. Because today we're talking about something very important. You know, pain gets loud, really loud, and it becomes the only thing we think about when we wake up, the thing we plan around, the thing we worry about, the thing we manage, the thing we brace for. You know, after a while, pain starts taking up so much space that it starts feeling like it's your whole life and everything else becomes insignificant.
That's exactly what I saw happen to you, Debbie. I mean,
Mm.
over your 21 years of unmanaged chronic pain,
Hmm.
it's not that your strengths, your abilities, your value, your purpose
Hmm.
disappeared.
Right.
It's it's just that that pain that you were experiencing got so loud. It just seemed to
Mm.
drown out everything else. I mean,
Yeah.
it became the loudest voice in the room.
Yeah. And you know what? Unfortunately, that was not a pleasant voice.
No, no, pain, pain's not known exactly for giving pep talks, right?
That's right. No, it's more like, look at everything you cannot do. It's a really rude voice.
Yeah, like extremely rude, extremely.
Right. Yes. But you know what surprised me was even though pain was loud, it wasn't telling the whole truth. Pain starts teaching us things like you're weak, you're broken, you're limited in what you can do, you're a burden on people, you're less than you used to be. But when we hear that long enough, we start believing it. I know I did. And I stopped seeing Debbie. I started seeing a woman in pain, a woman who had to cancel plans with people, a woman who couldn't do things she used to do, a woman whose world kept shrinking smaller and smaller. And when that became my identity, it really was heartbreaking for me.
Yeah, I think that's pretty important. I remember going on
Mm.
quite a few trips without you.
Right.
I went.
You
There
did.
were times we made plans, or there's time we didn't make plans because we just didn't know.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
and but I think this idea of how painful, I mean, emotionally painful it is important
Yeah.
because those thoughts, those voices,
Hmm.
the loudness of the pain. I mean that makes sense, right? Because it's understandable because you feel like uh, you've lost things, that things have been stolen from you.
Sure.
But
Hmm.
I mean, just because it's understandable, just because it makes sense, just because it feels a certain way, does not
Hmm.
mean it's accurate. Because
Right.
pain doesn't tell the whole story. It's
Mm-mm.
missing some big, monstrous pieces.
That's right. Yeah. So pain is a part of my life, but it's not the whole story. But that does raise a hard question. And that is if pain isn't all of me, then what is still there? So when I started thinking about this, I realized something that pain had taken a lot, but it had not taken everything. You know, in some ways, it actually showed me some strengths that I never knew I had. You know, I noticed that I had become more compassionate to look at other people and more observant of, other people out there are suffering. Made me more understanding of those things. You know, I also became more appreciative of small joys. That was really important. And I got a little bit stronger and more resilient. So even though I never would have chosen pain ever, I can still acknowledge that, I had some of those things growing inside of me.
Yeah, well, you and I were on this journey for your 21 years of unmanaged
Yeah.
pain, and then since then in your recovery. So
Hmm.
I watched those things happen to you.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
your strengths, your abilities, your value. They weren't yelling, "Hey, look what I accomplished." But your strength, even though it was overshadowed by the pain, out yelled by the pain, it still
Yeah.
it still showed up. It was still seen in your life, like getting up on hard days, trying again even after one more disappointment, right?
Yeah.
Choosing hope again, getting that hope from others, right? Even after a discouragement.
Yeah.
Another one is caring for others while you were hurting yourself. I mean, that in and of itself is that's amazing strength.
Yeah. Thank you, Jim. It's good to hear those kind of things. It's good for all of us to be reminded of that. The hard part is that most people listening, they don't call that strength. What they call it is just surviving. I know, because that's the way I feel too. But you know what? Surviving something hard day after day, that is strength. That's resilience.
Absolutely. Strength, resilience, and we even redefine the word surviving, right? To remind us.
Yeah. Yeah.
We call it what? What do we call it?
We call it thriving.
That's right.
Yeah.
You are not
Yeah.
a pain survivor. You are a pain life thriver.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe your kindness feels hidden. Maybe your joy and confidence feel hidden. Maybe your creativity feels hidden. A lot of different strengths in you that you used to know, maybe they feel hidden. But something to remember is that hidden is not gone. Okay? Hidden means it's still there, it's still waiting, it's still a part of you, and it's still worth you rediscovering.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite truths is just because something's hidden, just because sometimes the word is used latent, just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not true. And
Yeah.
sometimes those hidden things, those hidden treasures just need to be uncovered and discovered. Hidden things still exist. They're not gone. They're not buried. They're not dead. They're just hidden, overshadowed, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes, Jim, you had to remind me of that before I could believe it.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. The reminders, right? From the things you've written, maybe things on the wall, maybe others like me, maybe friends and family,
Yeah.
just reminding, right? Because there are seasons
Yeah.
where, there were times that I held hope for you just until you could hold it
Yeah.
yourself.
That's right. Yeah, you absolutely did, and many others. And you probably reminded me a few times.
At least a few.
Okay, many times. Yeah. All right. Well, here's something simple that I would like for our listeners to try. So ask yourself, what has survived despite your pain? Not what pain took, but what have you noticed survived? Do you have some wisdom that survived, some humor, some faith, some love, some resilience? If so, write those things down. I know that some of those things have survived in you. Write those things down, because what survived, it's still in you.
Yeah, and what survived, which is probably the vast majority, if not all of your strengths. But these things that these things are probably your deepest strengths, right? The ones that are still there, still holding on, still even growing, right? Because sometimes
Yeah.
the most beautiful parts of people are forged in hard places, right? The stories we know about people who have accomplished significant things in their life or the lives of others, they usually have gone through hard times.
Yeah, it's so true. Yeah. So if pain has made you feel lost, I understand that too. If pain's made you wonder who you even are anymore, I understand that too. But listen to this. You are more than what hurts. You're more than what's changed in your life. You're more than what was lost. There are still beautiful parts of you alive in your story. Some might be hidden, but remember, hidden is not gone. And maybe this is the season that you begin to discover that for yourself.
That's right. And that rediscovery may
Mhm.
become one of the most healing parts of your journey.
That's right. Yeah. So if this conversation resonated with you, we'd love for you to subscribe and share it with someone else who might need this reminder. We know of a great free resource for identifying some of your character strengths. We'll drop the link to the VIA Character Strength Survey in the description and in the first comment below. And as always, remember, your pain is real and there is hope. And our goal is to help you have your pain in the rear view.